We're gonna call this meeting to order. For the sake of efficiency, I'm gonna take my mask off and lay it right there. And the first thing we need to do is try to get our minutes into the record. And tell you what we can do. Let's look at.
Conference will now be recorded.
Was that the other meeting?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go again. Now we're online. Everybody with me?
Yes, sir.
Let's try to get the minutes into the record for. What do we need, Josh? We need November and December?
December and January.
We need December and January. Let's do December first. I'd entertain it.
The minutes, though, you're right. We need November, and we didn't.
So we didn't have minutes.
Right. We did for November, but we're presenting December, January tonight.
All right. There you go. So let's get the November minutes in the record. Those of you who are on here virtual, you got those minutes in front of you? Do I have them, Josh?
Frank, Dennis.
That was on the.
Burton Clark.
Yeah,
We've had them.
I got the
We don't
email.
got a copy of them here. We had them on there.
Yeah, she said.
Yeah.
Well, can I get a motion that we accept those minutes that Tina sent us?
I'll make a motion, we accept them.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilson. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Faye. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Then we'll enter those November minutes into the record. So let's move right into our EMA report like we always do. And luckily, we got the manager with us today, not the boss, the director.
Yes, sir, Chairman. So for January 19th to February the 19th, we ran 10 motor vehicle accidents. We had 8 commercial vehicle crashes. We had 4 structure fires and 1 illegal burn. Of those commercial vehicle crashes, we had to call in environmental cleanup companies on 3 of them. Those 3 occurred out on I-65. They were all 3 of them were rollover in nature. No injuries to report. Our NVAs, 1 of them was a fatality. The structure fire on all 4 of them, we used Red Cross to come in and put the families up overnight. Normally they put them up for about 3 nights, provide them with clothing, stuff like that. The illegal burn, I had to deal with TDEC on that. That was up in Orlando. And then we had our 911 meeting out at the 911 center. And then our special ops team, we had a team meeting. At our next month's meeting, I'll fill you guys in on what all we done during the winter, this past week we had with the ice storm. And I'll get you filled in on all that because we're still getting our data for that. But that's our monthly report that we have to share.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Stacy. Get your
Here
copy.
you go, Stacy.
Any comments or questions for Chance?
Hey, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
you know, I know the county pays the forestry department $2,000 a year. Part of that is because we get the burn permits, right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Now, have you got that number if somebody needs it?
Yes, sir, I've got the number in my office.
Right now,
Whenever
we're
call.
still in the middle of the no burn,
Yes, sir, that's correct.
but if they get a permit,
They can burn, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? If not, then I'll entertain a motion to accept this report get into the minutes. Tina? Motion?
I'll make a motion, we accept it.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilson. Do I hear a second?
I second whatever Randy, I approve Randy's.
Thank you, Stacy.
Yeah.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Okay, Josh.
All right.
Let's go right into that report and just glancing through here, you make sure I know what I'm looking at.
I will make sure you know what you're looking at. All right. So the first one we're going to do is the service report for December of 2020, for our end of the year report. You can see in December we had 952 total calls for service, which capped us out. The number that's on there, I don't think it's correct. I got a different number. of, basically last year was our busiest year on record. We had 10,243 calls for service. So we were up just a little bit from the previous year.
You're talking about the calendar year of
Correct.
2020.
Calendar year, that's
Yeah.
correct. In 2020, we had 6,652 billable transports. And then you can see our response summary broken down by unit, by truck number. So, of course, Springfield is our busiest truck as usual, running an average about 140 calls a piece on average every month. White House is creeping up right behind them at 123 for December of 2020, with Station 3 and Station 5 coming in right behind them. So that's Ridgetop and Coopertown. So both of those units are starting to creep up in total numbers as well. Cross Plains just in under 100, and out in Cedar Hill, 62. Nice and slow out. So any questions on the service report before going to the maintenance for December of 2020? All right. So as far as the fleet maintenance, most stuff was just routine maintenance, tire repairs, oil change rotation. One ambulance, number 36, did have to get some new tires and repair some heat in the module itself. So that bill was a little bit higher, a little over $1,000 there. But everything else was just routine maintenance. Nothing major to report there, no incidents. On the back packet, what I have been doing over the last few years for our crews is I've been just kind of gathering up some interesting statistics for them to take a look at. So that's what that whole back packet is. It's just some various statistics that I find kind of interesting. But it breaks down all kinds of numbers for the entire year. So as far as, like I said, the average response times for every single truck, how long they're on scene, all that is in there if you're interested in looking at that. Our top destinations. So North Crest was our top destination last year. We took 3,389 patients there. Skyline was number 2 with 1,163 patients, with Vanderbilt Adult in our third place with 398. Then it's always, everybody likes to know who wrote the most run tickets. So Robbie Hudson was our winner last year. Winner, chicken dinner. So you got a good pat on the back of that. And then as you kind of creep on down, it also goes into like our busiest month, slowest times of the year, fastest times of the year, all that kind of stuff is in there. Also some clinical statistics. So we did pretty good clinically last year. We're providing a very high level of care. So much so, like I said, we were recognized in 2019 as the ALS Service of the Year. We're continuing to build on that. So, COVID hit us pretty hard, but our crews are out there getting at it. So, any questions over December of 2020?
Let me ask you a quick question.
Yes, sir.
And it's just for me to get the terminology right.
Yes.
But on our ambulances, we have on every ambulance, we have a help me, I don't know the
The
term.
crew makeup, as far as crew?
No, I'm talking about the critical care guys and the.
Yes, so
Paramedics.
every ambulance, so there's 3 levels we have. Our very basic level is the advanced EMT. We also have regular licensed paramedics. At a minimum, there will be 1 paramedic on the ambulance on every single call that goes out. Sometimes there's 2. Sometimes it's a paramedic and an EMT. Just kind of depends on our staffing model for that day. And then we also have critical care paramedics, which is the highest level of licensure you can get in the state of Tennessee.
Critical care. That's
correct.
That's the term I was trying to get.
A majority of our paramedics are actually critical care that are full-time. So I think we're like 75%. We have one of the highest percentages in the state.
Okay, thank you.
Well, it's pretty cool, because this right here, the busiest day, slow day, it gives you some, how many EMTs you need to have and how many paramedics.
What's that?
Pays based on that, how much
Yes.
knowledge you got.
Yep, and we can actually, for certain calls, we can actually bill higher if a critical care paramedic's on the call. So,
Yep.
especially some of these transfers come out of the hospital with ventilators. So that was really helpful during COVID. We had some really, really sick people that were on ventilators, multiple medication drips. And so that really requires critical care paramedics to be able to handle something like that.
What was the comment you made, Stacy, about,
That's pretty cool.
okay,
This documentation, what he has
Oh,
done,
yeah.
helps
Yeah,
his
that's why.
staff.
I didn't know what I was looking at, but I'm getting an
Uh-huh.
idea now.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty well broke down
I like
24
that.
hours.
Yeah, this busiest day being Wednesday, I would've thought it'd been weekend day, Saturday.
And the slowest day was a Saturday. You believe that?
What I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Would you thought it?
everybody's,
No, I would've
everybody's
thought it.
tired, and Monday they're sick, so they get out there and they're road raging, and by Wednesday they're ready to get home. So,
It is what it is.
yeah, so those are the type of statistics we look at too when we're talking about new trucks, new stations. So we have that capability to kind of look at where to position trucks and all that stuff. So it's pretty neat we have that capability that breaks down that far.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna ask a question. I know I should be asked, I guess I shouldn't ask a
Sure.
question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway, Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
just because I need to know for myself. As long as you've been here, you've been doing this, haven't you? Did you ever go over it with, you just been breaking it down for your information so you would,
So I started doing that report, I'd say about 3 years ago, just because I find that kind of stuff interesting.
right, I do too.
And people, also our crews want to know, well, how many IVs did I start? How many, whatever. I mean, we can look at
So
all
y'all
that stuff.
discussed this, and, I like
Yeah,
that,
we-
Mr. Chairman.
I mean, all
Yeah,
of these things we know, and we do go through and look and, because one of the things we have to do when we're doing scene or zone coverage and different things
Right.
is maintaining response times. So whenever, we have certain units in certain parts of the county, that's why we manage a lot of, we can't have another truck out of county doing a transfer or something because it'll raise our scene response times, different things. So all in all, it's good, useful information just to really allocate assets throughout the county on certain days and different things. So there's a depth there that, it's probably, I don't know that we've brought it to you guys at that level, but it helps us on our decision making on what to do.
I like that,
But-
Mr.
but-
Chairman.
But to comment, some of these things you have mentioned to me before.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I've
I
seen
mean,
already.
you've probably seen a lot of the data in incremental pieces, but not necessarily
No, that's
As a
It's a
whole.
great
as
report.
as a
Right.
report like that.
I don't know that we need it every month, but certainly I'd say
Quarterly spot
every
check or
quarterly
something.
or at least every 6 months.
Okay.
That'd be good to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've been running that big comprehensive one, just like I said, just at the end of the year, just to let people know. But I mean, we're looking at those numbers constantly, so just not running the big report. So.
So, and this, I could see this benefit something when y'all sit down with Chris, lot, to
Yeah.
help share
Yeah,
what,
absolutely.
hey, this is what we're seeing most of.
Right.
Because we all know sepsis is
Yeah.
still up there on top.
Yeah, and our clinical protocols actually feed into their sepsis bundle at the hospital.
Right.
So we prep the patient, and that's part of the level of care that we provide with, things that we do in the field for continuity, to try to, start their recovery before they ever hit the hospital doors.
Thank you.
So in addition to the December service report, we do have the discharges and transfers out of North Crest report as well. Pretty much keeping pace with average, roughly, I think we had 81 transfers out of North Crest to another hospital, 44 discharges. That's pretty standard traffic for us.
Does this also include skilled nursing
Yes.
facilities?
So
Okay.
that would include the discharges. That's in the discharge
Okay.
report. So those are back to nursing facilities, skilled nursing facilities, and
Uh-huh.
occasionally a residence. But mainly, I would say probably
But
42 of those 44 are back to a skilled nursing facility. I mean, I could break that down further. I just didn't
Sure, no, I'm
put in
just
the
curious.
actual locations and stuff.
Anytime you have questions about that, Stacey, or you just want to know, let us know.
I think
Absolutely.
I'd like to see us where we had to have a dedicated, to keep it off from y'all's emergencies to go to these skilled nursing facilities. That we got that big, large. But anyway.
So moving on to the January service report. So in January, last month, pretty busy. We had a total of 909 calls for service, with 609 of those patients actually being transported. That's a pretty hefty month for us. just under 1,000 calls there. Of course, you can see the response breakdown of all the various trucks, pretty much on par with our average monthly. Some of them a little bit. Springfield was a little bit busier, especially with some of the weather, even prior to the snowmageddon, some other issues, rain and stuff, lots of car wrecks. For the maintenance report for the month of January, we did have one of our vehicles had a significant repair that needed to be done, some glow plugs and some issues like that had to be fixed, just under $2,000 at Reiselman. All of the other ones were pretty standard stuff. We did have to replace a windshield that got cracked pretty good on one of the ambulances. But other than that, everything's just normal routine maintenance, oil changes, tire rotations, alignments, that kind of stuff. And then for the discharges and transports out of North Crest, again, pretty much almost identical to the month prior. 70 is pretty much our average as far as transports out of the hospital. And so we did 40 discharges as well.
Chairman, I make a motion to approve. There's no questions.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the report. Let me get a second, and then we'll discuss it if we need to.
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilson. Now, any discussions or any questions for Josh or Rick? You're going to take a closer look at the revenue and the comparison when we get to your report. Okay, any other questions? All those in favor of accepting the report for December and for January signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Did you have anything else, Josh?
Do not. Unless you have any questions for me.
Take off, Mr. Jensen.
All right.
Floor is yours.
All right, we're going to start with December of 2020. For the month of December, we billed $588,600.30 on 733 billable encounters. It was up from 414 in 2019, which Josh alluded to as our real busy month. And our charge per encounter was up to $803 from $782.89. That could be a myriad of reasons. It could be we transported further. It could be our patients were sicker. Or it could be a lot of things. But it did go up fairly significantly for the month. Our cash collections for December were $233,938.33, up from $213,354.56 the year before. And then our overall year-to-date collections sit at through December $1,070,340.32, and that's down somewhat from the prior year of $1,128,524.27. And some of that I think we can attribute to, we did have a slower few months back in October, November, so we did have a little bit laxed revenue cycle in December. The busyness hits January, February when we pick up the 733 runs. So we'll pick that up over the next few months. Our expenses for December were $381,311.53. That was down from $401,961.55 the year before. And based on the number of runs, our average expense per call went down to $520.21. And obviously, that's largely due to the dilutional effect of the number of runs we had. Our year-to-date expenses through December were $2,987,968.59. Same time period of last year, we were at $3,109,664.35. So we have held it expense-wise under prior year. I'll get into some of the specifics of that here in just a few minutes, but that is what we did for December. Questions or anything about December? All right, no questions. I'm going to move into January on the next page. For January, we billed $377,154.90 on 477 billable encounters. It was down from $590, $399.40 the year before. So January was a little bit slower than we normally see for a January. And our average charge decreased from $795.69 last year to it was $795 last year to $790.68 this year. Our cash collections for January were $168,167.95. Last year it was $199,976, which was a difference of $31,808.06. It was decreasing. Our year-to-date collections, we still are a little bit behind last year. This year we're at $1.238 million. So far, last year at the same time we were at $1.328 million. As far as expenses go, this last month, or in January, we were at $418,094.14. Expenses last year at the same time were $364,941.56. And as far as the year-to-date expenses, we are within about $65,000-70,000 where we were last year. We're actually just a little bit below where we were last year for the same time period.
The 3.406 versus the 3.474.
That's correct. Yep. And our expense per call went up to $876.51, and again, based on the fact that we had 477 billable encounters versus the 742. Any questions about January? If not, I'm in the next page. It's kind of a new thing, and this is something that I've tracked. I'm going to put it in your packet monthly, because one of the things that we've discussed is overtime and premium overtime and how it's calculated and all of the things that really as we went through our presentation and our fact finding when we compared ourselves. One of the things we felt like we wanted to start tracking was obviously our overtime and the type of overtime and how it's doled out and things like that. So this is a snapshot, and we'll continue this on through February, March, April, and just make it an ongoing thing. But it tracks the total amount of overtime, and I get these reports as payroll summaries from finance. So it gives us the specific numbers. And then what we do, they also have it broken down into a premium overtime and then also just a regular overtime, like a built-in to their salary overtime that we know is part of our salary structure. The way we do it is part of the overtime is built into, someone's, we expect that every year because that's the way we do it, 24 hours and 24-hour shifts. So anyway, the payroll summary breaks it down. So what I thought we'd do is just take the total amounts and then look at the overtime as a percentage of our total wages to see if we're trending up or down, and then premium overtime, what that number is, and what is that percent of our total overtime, because we were trying to find things that we have more control over, and the way it's doled out. We stopped paying, we started paying out straight time for comp time if they take it during the week, and we won't go back through all that. But, that was one of the ways that we were losing some overtime that we found that we felt like was calculated as premium overtime. But, now, since we've done that, we want to make sure we're having an impact. So for November, we paid out $102,347 in total overtime. $103,601 in December, and $118,456 in January. Now, looking at that as a percentage of our total wages, it stays around roughly 40%, a little higher, a little low. And then our premium overtime, which I feel like is a little more controllable, you can see in November we were at 91%. And then in December we were at 83%, and it's dropped to 77.7 in January. So a positive trend when it comes to the way that we're doling out overtime, the accountability on the shift captains to manage the overtime appropriately. The correct licensure person needs to be in that spot, as opposed to, just letting somebody sign up that's a paramedic in an EMT spot, so to speak. So things like that just that additional level of accountability, I think, has given us another, I guess, a viewpoint of what is possible and what we can do and what we're in the process of doing. And I just want to make sure we have a vehicle that quantifies that so that we can see the improvements that we're making in regards to overtime. And granted, this is just one aspect, but I think since it's been such a big talked about thing that we need to watch it kind of under a microscope. So the other thing that I think plays into that is the open positions that we have. Because obviously, if we've got open positions just to keep trucks up, keep from shutting them down because we don't have people, we have to pay overtime to get people to come in and fill the slots or fill the shifts. So in January, we did have 2 paramedic openings. You can see in November, December, we didn't have any. In January, we had 2, which I think shifted our overtime up a little bit more than it would have been. But we didn't have the people that were equivalent to 2 FTEs.
We didn't have the salary for that.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. So it shows up in the overtime bucket. So as we go forward, I think that we will continue to march that out. So you can see there's a direct correlation, I think, between the premium overtime and the openings or open positions. If I have any questions about that, I think it'll be good to keep this microscope on it.
Yeah, I do too, and we're looking at a really short period of time, but this premium overtime from 91% to 77%,
It's
you think that's, and it's a percentage, and I know we had 2 openings in Audi and all that, but you think that's a direct result of us changing the way that we count overtime on that comp time that we changed?
I think it's a combination
sick time and comp time, right?
Right. I think it's a combination of that, and I think it's a just heightened accountability.
Good. Thank you.
So, questions related to that?
Questions?
All right, on the next page, I just put this graph together, and I pulled my numbers from the December report that Russell had put together. But it just shows the year-over-year increase from the calls of service or calls for service that we've had. And actually, Josh made it a point to say it's a little over 10,000 on 2020 or 2020. So I'll have to get that and update it. But anyway, I think that what it does, it shows that we're clicking upward. And again, this is not transports. This is when someone calls 911 or calls for a transport or transfer from the hospital. Anything we get pinged to come out and do something. This is what this looks like. So there was a lot of talk about when we added our other truck, and so now then I think we are, like I was telling Mr. Hoover earlier, we are kind of growing into our infrastructure a little bit more. And we'll continue to do so with the building and everything that's going on in the eastern part of the county and the west. So those are, I think it's important to track that as well. Just so know that we are getting busier and busier, which is a good thing.
How are y'all tracking the development?
So what we do is, obviously, knowing what's going on around the county. I mean, it's more informal. I mean, nobody's came to me and said, hey, we've got 1,400 houses going.
Yeah, because I like being ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Because, we've got 900 plus on White House side.
Sure.
We've got 2 subdivisions going in at Coopertown, one now in Adams. I'm like,
Yeah, well, obviously our Adams truck it has the bandwidth to grow.
To grow that, right.
So we'll see that. And right now, Station 4 over in White House, I mean, it's busy, as you can see on the reports. I mean, it's catching up with the Springfield trucks. That'll be a need over I'm not going to say next year, but the way we utilize our resources, we've got the bandwidth right now as a service to absorb some, and we knew that a few years ago when we did this, that we were going to have some additional growth. We're going to pick up White House City as opposed, over on the Sumner County side, which we take care of that. And that's been a really good thing for us. It's shifted our payer mix a little bit more favorable, and it is, a little more busy in the type of busy that you want to have. And,
Right.
being in healthcare.
Exactly.
So I think we've got, that is getting busy. What I would say is this, the trucks that we have now, that's why you see a lot of zone coverages. There's many, many times that Station 4 will be on a transfer or transport somewhere. They'll be transporting someone to Vanderbilt or wherever in out of county. So what we have to do is take one of our trucks over here and shift it over to Crossroads or somewhere close so that they can do a zone coverage in case they get called, so we maintain our response times. That we don't want somebody having a heart attack and because the White House truck is going to Nashville to wait 20 minutes for a truck to show up. So that's why there's a lot of truck movement and a lot of things, and you may see trucks sitting in different places and doing things that just doesn't look real logical, but that's what we do. As a committee, I think we do need to talk about over the next few years what's going to go on, because in the eastern side of the county, as growth continues, there's going to be a need more and more for an additional truck over there. Like I said, not saying this coming year or anything like that, but over the next few years, what we're going to do for a station, because basically we're embedded with White House Fire now, right across from Sonic. And when we do that, I mean, that's fine for the time being, but as we grow county-wise, population-wise, that truck's going to be out of county more and more, or it's going to be out of service coming to North Crest or wherever it is. So we have to cover each other.
Well, the good thing
Coopertown's
is same way.
Same way.
Because, they're going to have two different spectrums
Correct.
of subdivisions.
Right.
One is going to be in the $200,000 range. The other one's going to be in the $300,000 to $500,000 range. Totally two different, beginning houses versus those that are established. So, yeah. Well, maybe with White House growing, one of our commissioners or whatever can work with a company and say, hey, I need you to leave us a spot to put a future.
Yeah, I assure you, Commissioner Moore, we've been
EMS.
working on that.
I know you have.
And one of the good things about working with that deal is White House is very cooperative. They want to help, and I would say if you asked Jerry Herman, he's looking for a place for that second truck right now. What we found out though, and I know that Chairman of the Budget Committee knows this, that when we added this last truck, some of us were under the illusion it was going to cost us about $150,000.
Right.
Well, that's not true. That's only about 1/3 of the cost when you add a truck. So now, and we are, this is a great ground, and it is justification for that truck we added, and we are ahead of the curve right now. Now, we won't stay there.
Right.
But all of us know now how much it costs to add a truck.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, and I don't think that we'll be adding a truck anytime soon.
No, I don't either. But it surely is coming.
But it will eventually. It'll come. The thing that we obviously on any zone that we're in, whether it's Zone 5 over at Coopertown or here, Zone 4 in White House or wherever, the response times are everything. I mean, for White House, when they contracted with us, I know, and Josh probably knows this, they were running around a 14-minute and sometimes a lot longer response time to a scene. Well, we're running around 7. You know, so they're really getting a good deal for it's fitting what they need really well. So they're very happy with that, and as we are. So, you know, we just want to make sure that we facilitate the growth that's going on. And I think right now we can continue to do that with the resources we have. But again, as we grow, we'll come to you guys and say, here's what we see, here's what's going on. Or if we start to see response times swell a little bit based on, you know, what we have historically when it hasn't been as busy. But again, I think that's thrown some of our expenses a little out of whack, to your point. But we're in a good position right now to continue to follow the growth of the county. Because not only do we do zone coverage for Zone 4 over in White House, we do it for Coopertown. We do it, you know, the trucks over here in Springfield. I live out on 76, and it's constant. It seems like going back and forth, lights and sirens over there to get to Crossroads or get somewhere, or even to do a call, you know. So we are going to be smart about it, though, and, you know, some of the things that Josh and I've talked about that we're going to be doing is, like, after midnight, our run volume precipitously drops in a lot of zones. Not necessarily as much over in in Springfield, but in White House per se. And I think we're going to stop doing zone coverage if the truck's out, you know, after midnight, and just watch it and see to make sure we're making the right decision. We're doing a lot it'll reduce fuel costs and different things, but it'll also help with staff morale and different things that have to get up at 3 in the morning just to go sit at Crossroads or something, you know. But then again, we have to balance that with if we get a call, or, you know, taking the chance of not being there if we get a call. So just being judicious about what and how we respond to it. So those are all the things that go in the background. And so when you're looking at resources around the county from an EMS standpoint, the data that Josh showed you helps drive a lot of the decisions that are made there.
How much land, or what's the square footage that a building sits on, or what's the building?
I can't remember what
Ridgetop
did, but it was
I
like
can't remember what that was.
tiny.
Yeah.
enough.
No,
Not
it wasn't
enough.
quite
Not
enough.
Well, how much, I guess the school, what did we allot, I don't remember, I'd have to look to see what we allotted for the school when he set
Yeah.
that one out there.
That was prior me. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
I'll have to look.
Yeah, but you know,
Which one, is Springfield High School?
It's Coopertown Middle.
Oh, Coopertown Middle, yeah.
well, but you know, looking
Yeah,
forward
that's-
though,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, looking forward to the thing like with the White House and Station 4, or Medic 4, whatever we do over there needs to be a two-bay, two-bay
absolutely,
station. So we can't do like we did, you know, at Adams or Station 6 or Station 5 over
Right.
Coopertown. So they need to be something because that's going to be a growth area. So
Yeah,
Yeah, and
We have a
Ridgetop's
built one like
defense,
that.
right.
they were very cooperative, and what they said in the very beginning is we'll build it and y'all move your ambulance over here. Then when we got into it, we found out it's a little more complicated than that. In the end, they decided to build it with a cap, and I know they run over, I think.
Right, I'm
But
sure.
then we got it built, and we're in there, and we're right where we need to be. Now,
let's put it like this, Station 3 over at Ridgetop, we're getting a new ambulance, and they're slated to receive the next new ambulance that we have coming, in a couple months. And we're kind of concerned that that's going to be big enough for that ambulance
to get in the door.
to fit in the bay.
You can't open the back doors
Yeah.
right now without opening the bay door.
The bay door.
It's
So-
very, very small. The station itself is fine, it's the bay that's the problem.
But anyways, let me get through this. So anyway, we'll continue to track this and just, you know, showing that month over month we do have, or year over year we do have growth. Now the last page, I wanted to put this together. This is through 7 budget periods. So what I did is I took the budgeted amount for each line item of our budget, and then I basically looked at it. What do we expect through 7 budget periods as far as the amount? And then I looked at our year-to-date expenditures and then the variance to see where we stood. And you can see, you know, pretty much we're on track with our personnel expectations, you know, is what we expect there. I want to bring attention to one thing, 169 part-time personnel. you can see we've only spent this year through 7 budget periods, $37,005. So we are actually under budget from what we would expect in part-time personnel, $83,167.29. So, we have committed to try to get a pool of individuals that we can pull from that are part-time individuals. In the past, it's been difficult, but we're committed to trying to continue to do that. And then the overtime, right now we're basically where we were budgeted or expected to be, about 3,800. All the rest, the other things that are not necessarily under budget are a few things that are not necessarily a large ticket. Our building maintenance, we're 5,100, which brings up a whole nother point about Station 1 and, the condition of that in years to come. It'll continue to be a maintenance issue as we go forward. But the other thing, some of the other, like I said, like custodial supplies. One thing I did want to say, as far as the drugs and medical supplies, we should, according to this, be at 169,166 for the year. We're at 129. So I think we've done well through COVID and everything, trying to have all of the equipment, supplies, drugs, and everything we need, because roughly we're right at 40,000 under budget so far. Unless Josh has got a drawer full of invoices that he hasn't submitted, so I don't know.
Write checks.
But anyway, even gasoline, gasoline has been down, so we're 12,000 under budget for gasoline this year.
Not much longer.
Now that'll probably evaporate. So literally,
Solar power trucks.
yeah. Tires and tubes, we're a little bit over budget there, and then motor vehicles, we had budgeted 160. And I think we came in at 161, so we're 1,800 over. And then other capital outlay. But through 7 budget periods, we're 398,000 under budget expense-wise. So that's where we sit.
So Rick, so that I understand, we've averaged 7 years worth of budget, and as of right now, we're at 58.33% of our budget used up.
If you use
for this year to date.
If you use 58.33 of your budget, you're on target.
Yeah, and then this is the comparison.
And this is the comparison. So anything under 58.33 is considered under.
And of course, the aggregate comes up, it's under.
Correct.
Okay, good. That's a good report.
Correct. So any questions about that? I mean, it's.
Yeah, you let us see this again. Not every month, but you let us see this again.
We can do it quarterly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve it. Is that what you want me to do? We already approved
Okay,
it.
we'll have a motion to approve the report. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilson. Now, are there any questions or comments that you have on the report? If not, then all in favor of the report signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, Rick?
As far as anything else, right now we have 4 openings. In January, you saw we had 2. We have 2 more.
Right.
So we do have opportunity. We've had paramedics or EMTs in school. Remember, we started sending them to school to go to paramedic school because we were having trouble recruiting. Remember all that? Well, we've been fortunate enough to retain a lot, and we've had some double medics trucks, which means that instead of a paramedic and EMT running a truck, it's paramedic, which is more expensive. But since we put them through school and everything, we just haven't hired the EMTs or anything. And I mean, we have to have a position for them. The 4 openings that we have 4 or 5 EMTs that are coming in for interview. So it gives us an opportunity to not replace the paramedics and, hire the EMTs and break the double medics up and better utilize that. So that's something that's going on over the next, I think they come in March 1st for the interview. So we'll be doing that over the next few weeks, which will help us obviously on the financial side as well. Josh, as you guys know, has been in an interim role with us. He's done a fantastic job stepping in and well, you've seen the body of work. But we did post the advertisement for an assistant director today. So it actually went to Tennessee EMS and Facebook, and then also Indeed. I didn't really see a need to put anything in a paper because most of the guys that we deal with don't read newspapers or anything anymore. But those are the outlets. If you see it or if you want to go look at it or whatever, that's where they are. So we will go through the vetting process of anybody that submits a CV or resume. Josh is obviously interested as well. But what I would ask is the mayor, when you guys, a couple members, however many you guys, I don't think, unless everybody wants to, it's fine. But I would like for whoever we get that we feel like is a good candidate, that you guys go through the vetting process with me, Mayor, you as well, and then let's settle on and make a decision based on that. As far as the time frame, I'm going to let it sit out there for a few weeks just to see what we get, and then we'll go from there. They're going to be forwarding everything to me, so CV wise. So you guys, I want you involved as much as you want to be.
Right, I agree, and I certainly am willing to be involved, and I'm willing for anybody else to be involved if you want to sit through the interview process, and if you do, just let me know. I'll just leave it like that. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
And then when the time comes, then I would imagine, I would hope would have enough to have a selection process and narrow it down to two or three,
right. That's
whatever,
what I was
or who
thinking.
knows.
2 or 3. It may be down to 2, and then from there, go through the vetting process. Does that fit what you guys are comfortable with?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, good.
As far as just to kind of give you a glimpse of anything else, I mean, I've told you guys before, I feel like that this whole process has been very healthy for us as an organization to kind of do some introspection and look and make sure that we're doing what we know we need to be doing, or if there's a better way to do something, we want to see that. And through that process, we feel like that another level of accountability has kind of been implemented across the board. Not that it was lacking, but we just kind of went back and reset expectation on all levels, whether it's leadership, whether it's crew members, whatever it is, and communicate very well with them so that they don't take the wrong message and get disgruntled and morale goes way down. So we have, like today and this week, we had 3 shift meetings. We had our supervisor meeting on Monday. And then one of the things that I did tell them that I wanted to do going forward was a couple of people from each shift that are crew members, not supervisors. I'll shut them out of the room. I want a couple members from each shift to meet with me monthly, just as a direct portal. If there's anything going on that, maybe communication is not flowing through their shift captains or their supervisors the way that, if they're not hearing something, I want to know about it so that we can make sure that our communication is not fragmented. Because I think that is one thing that's kind of hurt us in the past a little bit. And so anyway, so all that's going on. We've reset expectation on overtime, on supply usage, and just pretty much anything related to operational issues. And they'll translate into cash. So anyway, that's just kind of a little snippet of what's going on in our commitment to make sure that this thing does well.
I think that's good. I think they've committed themselves to Robertson County. That's what's important. I think all the paramedics and the EMTs, and it starts at the leadership side.
It does. So. And we just want to make sure, and the ones that did leave, we've done exit interviews on every one of them to make sure that it's not something that, usually, there's a reason, obviously, but what we found is it's nothing specific to things that we control. It's more of a family issue or something that's going to fit their lifestyle better, or, getting out of EMS altogether, or whatever it is. So, just making sure that we're not missing something or being blindsided by thinking we're good, but then people are leaving because, you didn't do this, or I didn't know that, or just communication was bad. So, as a whole, I think, like I said, it's been healthy and it continues to be. So we are committed to making sure this thing tightens up even more than we probably have been. Shame on all of us, shame on me. But I think it's just, it's been a good exercise. So.
Very good.
Y'all don't have a white truck, do you?
White?
That doesn't have markings on the side?
That's probably mine.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be in my area.
Yeah.
Somebody's going down the road with the lights on.
Oh,
every
no,
time.
no. I've been visiting
That was
stations.
electric company.
All of our vehicles
Oh, no,
are.
Yeah,
they're
no.
red, yeah, no.
Probably a
EMA,
volunteer
it might be a
fire
volunteer firefighter.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
fixing
They
to,
got white trucks, I mean,
I'm fixing to
volunteer
come down on
firemen
them on our meeting. I'm having
Yeah,
a meeting.
everybody here
no,
is
mine, I've just been visiting
What are we
stations,
having?
outstations and different things, so
I
I
gotta call
could have
Sheila
been me, but
tomorrow.
I don't have lights on or anything, so it's just.
I wonder, this person, he does it all the time, he or she or whatever, does it all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have a meeting with chiefs.
And you live in Coopertown?
Uh-huh.
And they're probably
Well, I
responsible.
live in the county, but the other side of the road's Coopertown.
Okay, gotcha, all right.
No,
So, I didn't think, y'all's are all marked.
ours are all marked, and, yeah, since Russell did leave, his car's sat in the bullpen, so that's the only car that we had besides the truck and the Tahoe as far as chase vehicles, so. That's all I have.
Billing of non-transport.
Oh, did you bring that?
I did not.
Okay, so,
Dropped the ball now.
well, yeah, a couple of things that brings up. Billing of non-transports, we talked about that, and making sure that we did write a policy that is,
I'll get somebody down there.
that is kind of outlines what we want to do. We kind of mirrored it after Wilson County's, their fees, and making sure that, we give grace on situations, but, maybe the second or third time or whatever that, but if they continually abuse us, whether it be individuals, nursing homes, nursing homes notoriously, middle of the night, they've got one person and they'll call 911 for us to come help them get the patient out of the floor. Things like that are just, we've even.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Even through the snow, we've had the hospice companies
Not any.
tell them to call 911 to pronounce death.
Jay got it going on. Okay, yeah.
Hospice companies call 911 to pronounce death.
Why, they can pronounce them themselves if they've got enough.
Exactly.
We do
Plus,
several.
they have a nurse practitioner on that.
That's it. That's right. So
It's
things
not
like
Karis,
that.
is it? Because I need to know. I'll make sure that stops. Okay, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so we did write a policy. So can we email that to all the commissioners and so that
Yeah,
you
do
can
it.
take a
Good
look
idea.
at that, just so
Good
that
idea.
by the time we get next month's meeting, you'll be familiar with what we're proposing. If it's something different that you want to do differently, let us know that, and we can, change or amend. But I think it's pretty standard with what Wilson County does, and they've seen a pretty significant decrease in the abuse, but then also an increase in the revenue.
Very good.
So you have frequent flyers on here, and I heard that, not that word terminology, but I heard it.
I would like
Yeah.
to thank NHC for taking our most
Yeah.
frequent flyer out of Coopertown.
Yeah, we won't mention names,
like
but. yeah.
30-something calls since August. Moved 6 inches over in bed in the middle of the night. That was one of them.
You're kidding.
The other thing is, if
I
you,
wish I was.
as you guys remember, we talked about the revenue side of our operation, and we felt like there might be some opportunity there, so we vetted the company. You guys gave us the approval to move forward with changing revenue cycle management companies, which we have signed a contract with EMS MC based in North Carolina. Our go-live date's May 1st. We had our first kickoff call. That's what they relate to from. So very organized. I think it's going to be
Great.
a good thing. And also, as we were tailing off with our current vendor, they came back and offered us 4%. from 6 point whatever it
What
was.
about that on the front end?
Well, and so
These
I,
car salesmen?
I asked her, what's going to change or what's going to be different that's going to make it,
Yeah.
palatable for us. And she was like, well, I'll handle things myself. And I thought, yeah, that'll be for a while. But so what I did is submitted that percentage to our new vendor and actually got them down from where they were to like 5% or something. So,
Well, that's good. That was
yeah.
to your advantage.
yeah, so not only are we going to get the benefit of their increased efforts to collect, but we'll also get a little bit of cost savings on the backside of that.
I love it when they come.
Any other questions? Anything else we need to bring up as a committee?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I think for the record, did you call roll?
Did I call the roll?
No, oh, I don't know. It was
I don't think you did.
I don't think so.
Good, yeah, you did.
I think everybody's here.
Okay.
With 100%.
Everybody's
Everybody's here.
Nobody
Frank?
spoke, though, but
No,
me.
Frank was on there.
Yeah,
Faye was on there.
Faye.
Faye.
And 1, 2, 3, that was 5 of us. I mean, 3, 4, 5. Everybody's present.
Gosh. Okay, I make a motion to adjourn. I'll be booked.
Your second?
I said.
All in favor signify by standing up.